You are live.
All right, it sounds like we're live this evening for the City of Westfield Parks and Recreation Board meeting. Madam President, would you like to get us started?
Yes, thank you. Welcome, everyone. It's the February 5th, 2025 meeting of the Westfield Parks and Recreation Board. Terry, will you please call the roll so we can confirm the board members in attendance?
Mike Antrim, absent. Curtis Baumgardner.
Here.
Julia Grimmer.
Here.
Mike Hall.
Here.
Leanne Sintz.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum, and I'm calling this meeting to order at 7:01. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we don't have any changes to the agenda, do we have a motion to approve this meeting's agenda as prepared?
I move to approve this evening's agenda as prepared.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Terry, will you please call the roll for vote on this motion?
Curtis Baumgardner.
Yes.
Julia Grimmer.
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Leanne Sintz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. Moving on to the public comments portion of the agenda. Mr. Vice President, are there any members of the public that would like to address the board?
We did have a group, Westfield Pickleball Association, fill out a public comment card this evening. So if I could have the representative please come up to the microphone.
I don't have to move anything or do any motions, right?
If you could state your name and address for the record, that would be great.
Yes, sir. So my name is Donna Van Hughes, and my home address is 2505 Daylily Court in Westfield, Indiana. And I know you, and that's all right now. So thanks for allowing us to come to a public meeting. I am on the board of the Westfield Pickleball Association, and we have membership here with us, board members, officers, and also folks that are interested parties. So we had some folks that wanted to come and sit in on your meeting and see what it's about, but also bring not agenda item, but just let you know who we are and what we're about. And just, we have a couple of questions, and I think that's appropriate public comment. So this is my first time to do something like this. So just to let you know what our mission statement is as the Westfield Pickleball Association, we just formed in the December-January timeframe. So we're very, very new. And I think some of the members of this board, or at least of this group of Parks Department representatives, have met with individuals within the community about pickleball. And it actually advised us that we might want to become more organized, perhaps have an association, so then we have a voice with the city and the mayor and the Parks Department. So that's our goal and why we have formed. We have submitted to the state and are actually an organization. We have an EN something number, whatever that means. I'm sorry, my my treasurer's not here to tell me what that means. But we're a tax exempt 501c7 social and recreational club with the hopes to be 501c3 in the future, but that just takes a little bit of time. So in terms of our mission, I'm just going to state it as we have it in our bylaws, is to promote the sport of pickleball within the greater Westfield community as a healthy recreational activity by providing, and I underline these things, accessible, inclusive, public, and year-round playing opportunities for all ages and skill levels, and try to foster a welcoming environment for social interaction, skill development through recreational and competitive play. So I think the key words there are open play and year-round and public and accessible to any families. I do know there's a movement, and we're all excited about those, of having large companies that want to form pickleball buildings and clubs and country clubs that you play pickleball at, but we'd love to promote community access. Not that we don't like that, going to play at clubs, but we'd also like to promote the community availability. So our first question was about the status of Quaker Park and the potential renovation of that. So I don't know how to proceed, because we had 4 questions, and I thought we'd listen to your whole meeting and then say, oh, those got answered, so we don't have to bring those things up. So I'm not sure how to proceed. If you guys-
So the park board actually doesn't engage in answering questions from the public, but we're
Perfect.
here to hear kind of your thoughts and
Okay,
some of those different things. The staff would more than willing, sit down and meet with you, have a conversation with you outside of
perfect.
this.
Well, when on our state our 4 buckets of interest, and then you can tell me to sit down and be quiet. Does that sound okay? All right. So the one point of interest that we gathered was the Quaker Park and potential renovation of that, and the portion of Quaker Park that is currently a pickleball court. So that's one key area of interest for us to look at with the Parks Department and find out the status of timing of that potential project, if in fact it will be one. Another is potentially, while that is happening, would there be potential to subsidize open play at a location while Quaker Park is being renovated? So that's another issue, that if in fact the Parks Department can do that activity and project, could there be, like at Noblesville, a subsidization by the Parks Department of a place to play for the public in the time frame that that's being renovated? That happens at the Boys and Girls Club right now in Noblesville, where Noblesville Parks Department pays the Girls and Boys Club for an 8 to 12 every day session throughout the week, and then people come and pay $7 to play and pop in. So they actually subsidize that at the Boys and Girls Club. So that's another possibility. And then we also would like to know what plans there are for Osborne Park, if potentially that's a site that could be a site for public pickleball courts. And then we had a question about Grand Park and its community use, and is that community use going to encompass the sport of pickleball or not? And that would be something we'd be interested in partnering with people on. And I think then if any courts are being developed, could the Parks Department partner with seasoned pickleball players or even our organization to look at that court development in terms of its parameters and specs and what makes a quote-unquote good court. And then the very last thing was, in the future, will we ever have a community center here in Westfield? That's kind of beyond the scope of pickleball, but perhaps there could be dedicated pickleball courts in that, but a community center would be something we just were curious if that's on the agenda anytime in the future. So those are kind of our things that I gathered. I hope that's okay. So, say that again. I think I did say number 6. I did. Thank you, Jack. So I got kind of nervous, sorry, but thank you.
Thank you.
Is that all I do? Okay.
Thanks for your comments.
Really appreciate the feedback, outstanding. I think this is one of the first groups to come and address the park board, so.
It is the first group to address the Parks Board, so thank you for coming and addressing the Parks Board. And if you guys if the board doesn't mind, if you guys would be willing to stay after for a little while, I'd be more than happy to at least bring you up to speed on the answers to a couple of your questions. You guys are very welcome.
Okay, so we're moving on to the minutes from our last meeting. Trusting that we have all reviewed those minutes, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the December 4th, 2024 regular meeting of the board? In a second.
I move to approve the minutes from the 2024 board meeting, 12/24/24 board meeting.
I second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? I don't see any, so Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Julia Germer,
Yes?
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgardner,
Yes.
Leanne Sins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We don't have any items of old business, so moving further on down to new business. We have one item to discuss today, which is the proposal from Recreation Insights LLC for a new playground and its installation as part of the Simon Moon Phase 2 project. This playground equipment would fully replace what is there now. As you can see, the proposal includes pricing for each piece of equipment and service component for a total contract value of $807,916 and some change. So the action we are being asked to consider is to authorize the department to accept the proposal and, take any other action necessary to secure the order. Chris, will you please provide an overview of the proposal and any other comments you may have about this important part of Simon Moon Phase 2?
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to. Thank you, Madam President. Real quickly, I'll go over what the new playground is going to look like, talk a little bit about the mindset behind why we picked this playground. Obviously, this will be a part of Simon Moon Phase 2. We are hoping to get this approved tonight so that we may go ahead and secure the order, because this is a very unique custom playground, and it will have a lead time of about 32 weeks in order to manufacture the playground. And so we want to make sure that we get ahead of the game so that when the time comes that we can install the playground, it is complete and constructed and on site. So the playground, the footprint is this here. It will actually be larger than the playground that is currently there. Some of the unique features, it will have a 2 to 5 equipment area that has obviously balance beams, a lot of different activities and play panels that are interactive for the kids. Obviously has a slide. It is based on a lot of the other playgrounds and playground design right now. This is all done based under universal design. Universal design in playgrounds designs playgrounds so that they are accommodating to all types of users. It is a little different than, let's say, our Freedom Trail Park, which is a full ADA playground and has decks and ramps. You don't see that here, but this does offer opportunity for children with mobility issues to get on and play along with their friends. So it does offer that, and that's the big goal of universal design. So this is, again, more renderings of the 2 to 5 year old area. This is a play panel, and these little creatures will exist in the entirety of the 2 to 5 zone. One of the more unique features are these 2 to 5 year old climbing structures. These are full-size climbing structures that are the life cycle of a frog. So you have the egg, the tadpole, the nymph or pollywog, and then the full-size frog. And these are large enough, the little items that are on those are actually handholds, so kids can actually climb up on these things and interact with them, and then they also have an educational value to them as well. And that's what this section is down here. Moving forward, we get into the 2 to 12 year old section. So this is all inclusive of all ages. We have our slide bank that has 2 traditional belt swings and then a tot swing. And then on the end has a basket swing that can hold up to 600 pounds and also doubles as an ADA swing. So those with mobility issues actually can be put inside this with their friends and pushed and enjoy it along with anyone that chooses to be a part of it. It also holds adults, because I've been in one, and I'm a pretty big guy. We also have our multi-critter seesaw. It has a back and a non-backed side. These are a little different than your old traditional seesaws, but they are very popular. We currently have one that's similar to this currently at Simon Moon. Then we have something that is very unique. We have an inclusive carousel or an inclusive merry-go-round. This would allow someone with a wheelchair to be wheeled into the merry-go-round and actually be spun around and enjoy with their friends as well. So it's 100% inclusive, and it is one of those features that we're allowed to do because we've gotten away from using playground mulch and we use playground turf instead. So this playground will entirely be playground turf. And then we get to the last features, which are the 2 to 5 or the 5 to 12 year old or the older kids. One of the most popular features right now in playground is a climbing net like this. Has lots of different entry points and lots of different activities associated and exit points associated with it. Has a full-size, very large slide as an exit point. These are just some other renderings of it. A couple of climbing ladders and entry points as well. And then lastly, and probably the most unique piece of this playground, is a Robinia sandhill crane. This, at its wing peaks, is 9.5 feet tall and has handholds on the backs of the wings and on the body of the crane. This will be the first compan sculpture crane in the United States. So it will be very unique. One thing, I don't know if the board or our guests have noticed, but it is all very environmentally based, because Simon Moon and the purpose of Simon Moon is the outdoors and also outdoor education. So we've tried to keep within that theme. So that's kind of the overview of the playground. It's going to be very unique, very fun, one of a kind here in Westfield. As far as the estimate, so we are purchasing this through a cooperative purchasing program. That is the memo that is attached. All of the things are spelled out and their costs. The one thing I will point out is through our cooperative purchase program and our discounts, we have a almost 20% discount on the material the playground itself. And then we have a 5% discount on the actual installation, and then another 5% discount on the surfacing itself and the installation of the surfacing, which totals up to, through this cooperative purchase of this equipment, to a savings of about $123,000. So with that all said, I will entertain any questions that the board might have.
Any questions? Okay. Well, I don't.
I do have one.
Oh, go ahead.
Chris, I meant to ask you this the other day. Is this playground replacing kind of what's at Simon Moon now? Is it in the same general location?
It is in the exact same location. It will replace what is currently there. The stuff that is there is going up on, we installed that in 2012, so it's going up on 12 years old. Normally, the lifespan of a playground is around 10 years. They will tell you that it can push 15, but comfort level and safety level wise, I don't like to go much past 10. So it is time to replace that. And we will replace it and hopefully have it back open no later than spring of 2026.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I read about this, I don't know where it was, one of the articles about the phase 2. Are any of these really cool renderings of the equipment going to be shared publicly? Because I think they would really love to see that.
Yeah, I've shared them with our comms team, and our comms team is in the process of, I thought they were going to share them in the little video I did, but obviously they didn't quite make it to there. But yeah, they will be sharing these as well as some of the renderings from phase 2 of the items that will be included in phase 2. And I will talk a little bit more about the items for phase 2 when I do my director's report this evening.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, I see no further questions. So is there a motion to authorize the department director to accept this proposal?
I have 2 motions I want to make this evening. Is Caitlin on the call or no?
Caitlin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can I? Hey, Caitlin, this is Curtis. If I'm going to make 2 motions, can I do them simultaneously, or do you want them separate with separate votes?
I would advise separate with separate votes, just for the record.
Thank you. I move to approve the proposal from Recreation Insights in the amount of $807,916.20, utilizing special purchasing provisions pursuant to Indiana Code, as highlighted in the memo provided by Westfield City Legal Counsel.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Terry, will you call the vote?
Julia Grimmer,
Yes?
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Leanne Zintz.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I have a second motion. I move that the Park Board delegate to the Parks and Recreation Director the authority to determine whether it is in the best interest of the board and the department to execute a change order in an amount not to exceed his purchasing authority and in accordance with applicable Indiana law, with a report to the Park Board at a subsequent meeting. I'm happy to explain why I made that motion. If you've been involved in a project like this, there's a high probability that at some point something doesn't go exactly as planned, and I think we would want to give the authority to Chris to approve a change order not to exceed his purchasing authority so that we can keep the project moving forward with no issues, as long as the Park Board ratifies it at a subsequent meeting later on. Is that okay? Caitlin, just checking that you're okay with that. I probably should have cleared that with you before.
No, I totally agree. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Is there a second?
I second.
Terry?
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Leanne Zintz.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Now we will proceed to the director's report. So Chris, turning this back over to you.
All right, thank you, Madam President. Before I dive into the master plan, there's a couple other things I wanted to just kind of highlight high level, just so you guys are aware. First and foremost, we closed the ice ribbon the first week of January, and we had another ice ribbon, another successful season for the ice ribbon. We saw over 1,000 residents and visitors to the ice ribbon this year, and it was another success. So we're really excited that we have the opportunity and the availability to provide that amenity to the community, and our guys work really hard to set it up and take it down. So I wanted to make sure they were commended on how hard they work to make sure that that gets done. One of the other things I want to bring to the attention was Simon Moon Phase 1. We've reached substantial completion for Simon Moon Phase 1. We do have some punch list items that are left over with a contractor. I know that the community, as well as the board, I'm sure has still seen that there is fence up around Simon Moon. The reason for that is, unfortunately, we weren't able to open the sledding hill because it has been re-engineered, and there was a lot of earthwork that was done on it, and it was completely replanted in new trees and new native plantings and new turf grass. And if we allowed sledding on it this year, that we risked destroying that work. So we wanted to make sure to keep it up, the fence up, so that we could prevent that from happening. We will open it and cut the ribbon on it probably in late April, as well as do a fish stocking of the pond when that ribbon cutting happens. So not only will we have a variety of fish, but we will also have a variety that is at different ages. So the hope is the general public would be able to participate in catch and release fishing this year. While we have Simon Moon Phase 2 construction going on, because it won't be nearly as invasive as the Phase 2 construction going on, because it won't be nearly as invasive as the Phase 1 construction was, and the park will be open for use. That leads me to Simon Moon Phase 2. We are currently wrapping up design and development of those plans. We pretty much have everything worked out as to what's going to be included. Those items include the playground, obviously, an additional shelter, a seating plaza around that shelter, a four-season shelter on the top of the sledding hill that's going to be really unique and really cool, a outdoor education facility that will be adjacent to the pond and the sledding hill, and then a couple additional boardwalks, which will really make this park one of my favorites, and I think also something that the community really can be proud of, and provide a lot of different recreational opportunities, including kayak share and a couple of other unique opportunities that we're currently working on. And then now on to the master plan. The good news, the state accepted our master plan, the draft of our master plan, back in November when we submitted it to the state. The draft has come back with their comments on it. We have a couple of additional things that we need to do in order to complete the process. We will have a stakeholders meeting with several of you board members, as well as several of the city council members, in the next several weeks. And then we will also have an additional public input meeting that is scheduled for February 20th at 7 p.m., where the public can come and see all of the findings of our master plan. And then finally, the hope is to be able to present the master plan for adoption to the Parks Board on at their March meeting. It is a very extensive document, and I think it covers a lot of the things very well that the community had brought to our attention through the survey, as well as through our public input meeting, as well, and also our stakeholders meeting. There are several changes that need to be addressed, and our contractor is working diligently to address those items. If at any given time, as the board reviews it, if you have comments, do not hesitate to please send them my way. That being said, if the board has any questions on my report, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, I don't see any questions. Thank you for that, Chris. We'll move on now to other business. I think perhaps as an item of other business, we should circle back to the election of officers, which I skipped.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
So, maybe we start with that, and then see if there's any other comments that folks might have. We have, since it's our first meeting of the year, we have to re-elect the officer roles. There's two of them. There's a president and a vice president. I kind of forget how we did this to start with. Oh, I think I have to make a motion to call for nominations.
You would you would make a motion to call for nominations.
Okay. So can I have a motion to call for nominations?
I'll motion that we proceed with nominations.
Second?
I second.
Okay.
You really don't need a motion.
anyone
The
else?
president just needs to open the floor for nominations.
Okay. Well, I need my.
It's okay.
So I will open the floor for nominations for the president, which I guess I'll nominate myself.
I was going to nominate you, but
Are we ready to call a roll for the vote? Or,
yeah, I would
You want a
second that.
Okay.
Yes, I second it.
okay.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Leanne Sins.
Yes.
Okay. Can I open the floor for nominations for vice president?
I open the floor for nominations for vice president.
We're still figuring it out here, guys. Just so the audience knows, we're still getting the kinks out. But I nominate Curtis Baumgartner.
I second that.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Leanne Sins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Are there any other items or comments that the board wants to share or discuss? Okay, hearing of nothing else, just a reminder, our next regular meeting will be held on March 5th. And, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Terry? Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Leanne Sins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we are officially adjourned at 7:38, or 7:28.
All right.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, Caitlin. Thanks.
Bye.